Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm gonna try and get back to this, what I call the Seguro Files. It's gonna go over my decision making, how I ended up with the Power Wagon, of all the vehicle choices out there, and now doing all the crazy stuff where even I look back and some of the stuff I do, I was like, wow, it's I was really dumb. And how I got through there unscathed with no body damage surprises me, and no major breaks so far. So I'm impressed, and I have no idea how it's done. It's just a culmination of things, just factors clicking together. And I kind of want to tell that story because this truck have a little bit of history. If you want to follow along, go to www.segurooffroad.com. At the very top is a blogs tab. Make sure you hit that blog tab. You can follow the blog posts. I'm going to name them Seguro Files, and the number, sequential number 001, 002. And as we go through these stories and tell the story. So if you want to follow along, the videos will be tagged with the numbers that will match the blog post, so 001, 002, and so on and so forth. So anyways, in the last video I kind of cut you guys short. I kind of clipped right there just because I got tired of editing, and it was getting late at night, and I wanted to get something out. So I'm going to try and dedicate a little more time to this and make it a little more fluid. I'll get better as time goes on. Just like right now, I'm recording on my phone. I don't got an actual microphone. I got to stop saying because I say a lot. See, there it is again. It's like, I'll get better. So kind of going off in the beginning, I'd had a 2014 my Nissan Versa that I got hit in the accident with. That's gone. That car was, when I got in the Army, I had my S10. Then I was the lowrider and stuff like that. I got to a point where I bought my own house, and at 24 years old, that's to me that's an achievement in itself. Growing up the way I grew up. So at that time with the lowrider, it's pretty much a money pit, just like any vehicle that you tune, tweak, or modify. It becomes a money pit. So I made a decision. It was like, do I keep the truck or do I get rid of the truck? So I ended up getting rid of the truck, parting it out, selling it off to focus on the house. And it was like I have this 4-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms, and it's just me. Like I'm not a homeowner. So I ended up selling the house. Keep going along. I had the Nissan Versa, and I'm just I'm penny pinching this. I'm not really putting money into it. I'm pretty like frugal. Is frugal the right word? I think frugal is the right word, where I wouldn't spend a lot of money, just kind of save money. Then finally, I took the car in. I forgot what I took it in for. I think it's for some kind of maintenance on the rear hatch. I had my niece with me at the time. We went to the dealership, and I happened to take a look. I was already looking at getting a Jeep. It was November of 2019 when I first got the Rebel, because then 2020 is when I got the Ram. I was already eyeballing Jeeps, and I was looking at comparisons because I knew eventually I was going to want a tow something. Because at this point in time, I was already going out with the Razors, and kind of getting the feel for Razors, and I was probably looking at getting a Razor at that point in time. I was looking at tow ratings and Jeeps, because I want to do Jeep things and stuff, crawl on rocks and go out there and get these hairy areas. I didn't know I was going to get to the level I was at right now. To me, as fire roads is really, really what I want to do. The main focus of what I want to do is, I was doing a lot of hiking and a lot of mountain biking at the time, is there was a few trails that for my personal accomplishments, to hike every trail that I can see from the valley of Arizona, from Phoenix. I had two mountain peaks to hit in my hiking adventures, and I would complete that. And at this time, I had a mountain bike as well. So my main focus was to get to that, and the Jeep, I think, fulfilled that. But I also knew that eventually I want to tow something. So I was looking at tow rating, and that's where I kind of looked into Ram. The Nissan dealership was right next to the Ram dealership. So I went in there, took a look, test drove the Rebel, and let me tell you what, if you've never sat in a Rebel, there's something else. Like the cab, the interior, it's the same cab as the Power Wagon. When you do the research, like the 2500s and the 1500s use the same cab, and that's probably why I was able to transition into a Power Wagon at 2500 so easily. The only difference is the interior on the Rebels is immaculate. Like the accents they do, the color scheme they have. The center console at that point in time, I like the center console. I fell in love with that truck, and I was like, dude, it felt so good inside the cab. I was like, dude, I'm gonna get this. It was like, even because again, I'm a frugal person. That's a big purchase. So I didn't know if I really wanted a truck, so I leased it. So at 3 years I could just return it. You know what I'm saying? And I have to really be committed. So I'm like, man, I don't know if I want a truck, because I'm so used to my car. So that's where this seed for this starts happening, right? Because then I start taking the truck and the bike to more remote areas. So I'm finding trails that I can hike and stuff. So I start hiking and going out there. But what ends up happening when you get the new toy, my hiking kind of stopped, and so did my mountain biking. And I just started exploring off-roading places. And me and that truck in 30 days, we hit a lot of trails. We did 4 peaks. We did Broken Arrow in Sedona. That's the first time I came across Broken Arrow Trail, and I did it in a 1500. Nobody's gonna believe it because I didn't have a camera. I had GoPros at the time, but I wasn't recording anything. Like it's not until later on that I started recording stuff, and then this YouTube stuff starts happening. I started uploading stuff, and the Instagram. Instagram at this point, I have no social media at this point in time, so I'm not posting anything. I'm still taking photos because I like taking photos and documenting what I do. So we do all kinds of trails. We go to Sheep's Bridge, Bloody Basin Trail. Where else have we gone? Me and that truck in 30 days, we went a lot of places. And I knew at that point in time, I wanted a truck. And so that's where the Rebel, kind of sunk me into that. I had the airbag system, and it had a rear locker, and that's about it. And at this time too, as I had the truck and I'm looking at the other trails I want to hit, and they start talking about lockers and disconnecting sway bars and all those other options, winches and stuff. I'm like, Well, eventually I want to add that stuff to this truck, and I realized too that the airbag system that I have is not really what I want, because as I started off-roading in the truck, that was more detrimental. That's not what you wanted when you're off-roading. And the way I was going to use the truck, the intended after getting into it, I was, I want to get rid of this airbag system, and I'm going to go to a legit suspension that's going to be good for off-roading. And so that was going to cost me a lot of money. So I knew I was going to spend a lot of money to even get the truck where I wanted to, because when I initially bought the truck, the purchase, the intended use was not where I ended up after driving it. And it's like, okay, now I changed my opinion what I want to do. So that's why I went to go break the lease. And I knew to break the lease, I'm going to pay a penalty. So I went to the dealership, and I was okay paying the penalty. I was like, I already like this truck, and I'm gonna pay the penalty on this truck, and I'm okay with it. Penalty was like some $14,000, I think it was, because I was breaking it. Because I literally only had it for a month, and it was a 3-year lease that I was breaking, so it was a pretty big penalty. But I was like, I know I'm gonna beat this thing up, so there's no point in playing games in 3 years. And I don't know how I got there. I'm just gonna pay the penalties now because I'm gonna beat it up. So when we went to talk about the trade, to break the lease, because even the dealership was like, what the hell are you just trying to break this? I never even got the plates for the truck too. What ended up happening is it just so happened they had 2 white Power Wagons outside on the lot when I went to go break the lease. One with the steps, side steps, and one without the side steps. And the amount I was paying for the truck already with the broken lease put me in the Power Wagon range already, and I was okay with that. But now looking at it, I was like, this thing has front and rear locking differential and a disconnecting sway bar, and it has a winch. Oh, and a bigger engine. Oh, geez, and it's 3/4 ton truck. Oh, means technically I could put more load on the frame, and not so much the suspension, but the frame. Oh, the guy salesman that I had at the time didn't know anything. He was talking about the tires and stuff. I was old in 33s, okay, or whatever. But I was telling him about the disconnected sway bar. I was telling him about the features in the truck. He had the easiest sell ever because I already knew what was going to happen. And so total, when it came to buying the Power Wagon, was only going to be $5,000 more than me breaking the lease on the Rebel and buying the Rebel outright. So I was like, you know what, $5,000 more, I get the front and rear locking differential, disconnected sway bar, and a winch on it, and it's a bigger truck. I'll take it. So I ended up taking that, trading in the Rebel that day for the Power Wagon, and that's how I ended up with what you now know as Seguro. And so it turned into it's supposed to be a simple deal, but it turned into an all-day affair. And that's how we ended up with a Power Wagon named Seguro. And at this time, the truck didn't have a name yet. So that'll wrap up Seguro Files 001 and 002. If you want to follow along, I am posting blogs at www.segurooffroad.com/blog. If you just go to www.segurooffroad.com, You can see at the top there's going to be a blog tab. Hit the blog tab. You can follow along there. You can mention your comments and stuff like that. I'm going to kind of go through the written. I'm going to be blogging and then kind of doing these audio coverings of what happening, and as I go through these adventures. Because I think there's a lot of adventures and a lot of stuff that we've kind of accomplished and covered. That'll be kind of interesting. Some of these have some interesting background information. It's whoa, like what the heck? Like it's things just worked out, and that's how we ended up here today. But anyway, if you like what you hear, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, whatever YouTubers do, whatever. Hit the bell button, do that thing, and put your comments in there, any questions and stuff. Catch you guys on the flip side.